Welcome, luminous souls, to another episode of Sharing Awakenings. I'm Kristen Harper, your host, and we are infinitely grateful that you're here.
Activating healing energies and raising the collective consciousness through sharing your stories of spiritual awakening.
Sparkle Lindsay shares her story of spiritual transformation and awakening.
Then my journey was, it had already started, but it was becoming magical.
She offers real tools to help others heal their mind, body, and soul through her motto, being a better you for you.
Is watching someone crawl out of the deep darks of the midst of a cave, stand up, walk, and show their light.
In today's episode, Sparkle will be sharing about overcoming addiction and the challenges of working in corporate America.
When you have finally found what you want, what your purpose is, it doesn't matter where you end up or where you belong. In the end, you know, this is the surrender piece.
The powerful keys to finding true happiness in the simple pleasures of life. Her decision to find her authentic self.
So everything that has happened, I've really just been sitting in my higher power's lap and letting them take me where I need to be.
And how creating your own vision can take you to the next level.
And to share my enlightenment, my stories, my lived experience daily with people from the heart.
Welcome, Sparkle Lindsay.
Welcome. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, you know, I'm a recovering alcoholic addict actually for about a year and a half now.
Congratulations.
So I'm pretty pumped about it.
Yeah.
Pumped about it because I've definitely opened up some spiritual stuff along the way. Before I hit a spiritual awakening, I had to really go through the work and really know if this was something I was ready to do. You know, we all have those moments where we're not sure if we want to be sober. And then all of a sudden something hits us and we just decide that it's time to kick butt. It's time to do it, right?
Right.
And so somewhere in there, you know, during my journey, I said, it's time to go ahead and do this. Let's bring Sparkle back. Let's work on finding the authentic self, you know, I lost.
I love that. I love that.
Let's go get it.
Yeah.
And I said, if I'm going into treatment, I'm not coming back to this place.
Yeah.
When I come out, I'm gonna be ready. My dad, he used to always say it, he goes, one of the hardest things to beat is alcohol and addiction. He said, but if you can beat it, you'll be a pretty big badass. And I thought about it and I said, yeah, and that was when I was still using actually.
Yeah.
And now, those words that he says, they always sit in my head and I'm like, maybe I'm kind of a badass. I don't know if I'm there yet, but it's close. No. So I feel the blessings, these little things like the things that my father say and just the people that I've been around. It started happening to me while I was going through recovery. I'm like sitting there and had cried for the first time in 13 years.
Wow.
And I thought something was wrong with me, you know, as I was working through these emotions and threw myself into, you know, what they call a stroke, I had a TIA. And I didn't know what was going on, but I didn't realize how much of those emotions I was suppressing, you know, and I knew then that as much as I wanted to leave treatment, there was just a part of me that was so heavy, it was like, I gotta stay. This is the time for me to work on me.
Right.
I've been doing all this work for all these people, big companies, you know, and you and I have talked about it. Making the goals happen for other companies, but none for myself, right?
Yes, yes.
And I couldn't see that. So like being able to be by myself, processing, learning what I was about and what I am about now has just been amazing. It's been an amazing journey for me.
That's wonderful.
So as I got out of treatment, you know, I didn't know what I was gonna do. I didn't know my purpose.
Yeah.
I didn't want to go back to being an executive.
Can you explain that? What was that like for you?
Being in the executive world, being an HR advocate from 24 till about 34, for 10 years, I worked around the clock. I had a lot of things happen to me trauma-wise. My health wasn't doing too well. You know, I suffer from lupus. Actually, I don't suffer from lupus. I found a way through pain management to actually work through it. But I was definitely suffering from lupus during the last parts of my years in the retail industry.
Yeah.
But I was working around the clock, 13-hour, 14-hour days, constantly on the phone.
Yeah.
I had an associate kill himself in front of me, so that was a really, really big traumatizing time for me. And I was still trying to work, along with giving myself shots of chemo, you know, form of chemo for lupus, and trying to maintain this executive lifestyle along with drinking at the same time.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, so what kind of conditioning set you up or set you up for this kind of thinking and behavior that you had to be successful and you had to work 13-hour days and grind it all the way? Because I know I've had similar experience, and you know, and then it takes a toll on the body and your body just shuts down. But what kind of thinking, beliefs, and patterns of behavior were happening before this, like, enlightenment that you had, or transformation?
Well, you know, it was the strong woman syndrome. We all got it. We all, as strong women, if you're a strong woman out there, you know, we all think we have to do it.
I have chills.
We
right
have
now.
got to do it. Like, I used to be like, oh no, because I have to do this, and we have to do this. I have to get this done, and no matter what, we're going to get it done because we're going to fix it.
Yes. Yes. At the expense
of whatever it takes.
Whatever it takes.
We're going to get it done because we are the fighters. We are the fixers. We will make it happen.
Yes. Yeah. Amen. That's, I can totally relate to that.
And the resilience. Because at the same time, I won't back down. I'm going to get what I want. I'm going for my goals. Well, in corporate America, people love people like that.
Yeah.
Because we don't ever stop. We keep going, and they sit there and they allow us to do it for them until we do it so much we break down and we cannot help ourselves. And so there has to be a fine line, a boundary, and I had to find that, but I couldn't. I didn't even know it existed. I did not realize that me wanting to work as hard as I could to make this company goal happen inside was just tearing me apart.
So tell me about, you know, when can you remember the time when you were awakened to the fact that this is no longer working for you?
Well, the first thing I did a somatic experience with Tammy Romano at Peaks Recovery. That was the treatment center I was at. And the somatic experience helped me with pain management. It also helped me learn how to disassociate from anxiety. And I had dealt with a lot of trauma with the person who killed himself in front of me and so forth, and it was giving me nightmares. So we just started back at the drawing board. You know, we just started right at first base. And I remember laying on that bed there with her, and her saying these words to me: I trust my body. And when I was 21, I was in a wheelchair. I was put in a wheelchair. I got really sick. I was in the middle of my college basketball career, and I was unable to walk for about six to 8 months, and I had no clue what was wrong with me. And I was told I'd never play ball again, and I'd probably never walk again.
Wow.
And man, I never cried. I never cried about it. Not until about a year ago. Because you know, now I just cry.
When we first met, you said, I didn't cry for 16 years.
I didn't cry for 16, 13 years. And then all of a sudden, I got on this table and these words, and I say it every day. It's my safe word. I trust my body. And when my body's going through my lupus, when I'm having these flare-ups, whatever, I'm learning to work through that pain management. Do things to set myself up before it happens. Because I trust in my body. If I do the right things to prepare it,
I trust in my body. What amazing words.
So those were the first words that I remember, and I was like, wow,
that's so helpful.
Those words hit me a different type of way. And then
thanks for sharing that.
The next time I met with her, you know, we started talking about the strong woman syndrome. And when I got back on the table, you know, we were going through all of this stuff, and then she says, but how do you really feel? And I said, I think I was about 3 or 4 months sober at the time. And I said, I don't really feel like that strong woman stigma anymore. She said, what do you feel like? And I said, I feel like a woman of many strengths.
Beautiful.
That piece right there gave me chills.
That's absolutely beautiful.
Because that is when I knew that no matter what or who is around me, it's only me who can change what I need to for me. And it's only you who can change things that you can for you. But if we're both moving at the same speed and we're both holding on to our shit, then we're women of many strengths.
Yes.
And we're doing what we need to do in our journeys to be the best us for us.
Yes.
And that's where becoming a better you for you started with me.
Oh, I love that.
It was so much fun.
Love that.
This has been so much fun, Kristen. You don't even...
Self-compassion for the first time,
Yes.
actually paying attention to ourselves, and then permission.
Yes.
For the first time, right? Permission to.
Giving yourself permission to say, it's not mine.
Yeah.
But what is mine, I'm willing to take on.
What do I own?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is mine?
What
do
mine?
I need in my life? And as I started to keep going through that, and as I go through that now, every day, I always ask myself, what is my why? You know, what is my mission? Now, if anything else is getting me off kilter from my mission, I need to go back to the drawing board and think twice about the women of many strengths.
Can you tell me more about how you do that when you do have to rein it in and take a moment or a pause? What do you do?
Checking in with myself daily.
Yeah.
You know, meditations here and there, just stopping in your tracks to focus on the now.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes we forget where we're at in the moment.
Yeah.
You know, I think I've said it to you before, today will never come again, so what am I going to do with it?
Yes.
And
yeah.
I think sometimes I have to slow myself down a little bit and ask myself, wait a minute, what am I going to do with it? And what am I doing with it right now? Is it a part of the mission I want? Or am I just doing it to do it?
Yeah. I mean, do you have like a routine that you do every day? Or, I mean, I'm just thinking about listeners that are in the grind right now. They are the CEOs of their company and grinding it right now, possibly drinking, maybe whatever they need to do, right where we were. What advice do you have for them to stop? How do you stop when you're going 150 miles an hour?
So when we're going 100 miles an hour, I've noticed when I'm going 100 miles an hour, usually I haven't eaten. Usually I haven't had any rest. A lot of things might be irritating me a little more than normal.
Restless, irritable, discontent. That's right.
But I usually am able to pinpoint it and take time to do it by slowing down and being patient with myself. I just have to slow down and give myself grace and just be in that moment. And know that everything else can wait. Making time for yourself is so important. And making time for others is important. Because a lot of times we always say it, we ain't got time, I don't got time. You know what, I'm so busy, okay, well I will, and I've made a promise to myself that I will make time for whoever needs it. And everybody else will just have to wait because that's my moment in time. That is my now. And then from there, I can go back to the base and say, okay, I'm ready to start again. Yeah, and I've noticed when working at Springs Recovery Connection, your connection with recoveries and everyone there, even at work, you just have such a deep connection, and I think that it enlightens you. You're empowered by it. So service work, it really heals the soul. The coaching piece for me gives me a sense of purpose because I get so excited when I help somebody figure out where they fit in their puzzle. And when I find out where I fit in my own puzzle, and I try a different puzzle at least weekly for myself. So ultimately, if I can find that piece that may be missing, I've gotten that much further in my growth. You see, so knowing that is just it's the most amazing thing because most people, they don't get a chance to watch themselves evolve or see themselves take their life back. And sitting there and riding this ride with them, not telling them what to do, but accepting what their journey is and meeting them where they're at is amazing. It is probably one of the most spiritual, enlightening, empowerment feelings I have ever felt, is watching someone crawl out of the deep darks of the midst of a cave, stand up, walk, and show their light. It is the strongest thing I've ever seen. And as soon as I see it, it just brings chills to me, because I know it's possible and it's inevitable if you believe in it. Because I know it's happened with me, you know, and I've seen people standing right next to me, watching me crawl out of this and find the light at the end of the tunnel where I need to be. You know,
I think there is something so beautiful about, you know, being in recovery is a beautiful gift because of the depths of darkness that we had to go through to get to the light, to see the light, to get to the other side. The amount of work that went into that, and just surrender. Can you talk to me a little bit about surrender?
Oh yeah, you know, my aunt, that was another thing I heard from her. It was in December of last year, actually. December 20th is when I graduated from the treatment center. And December 20th is when my aunt made the comment to everyone, I am so blessed that Sparkle has sat in the lap of her higher power and let him take her where she needs to go. And that was another set of spiritual enlightenment. I just had tears.
I have tears.
It was amazing.
It's beautiful.
And I knew then my journey was, it had already started, but it was becoming magical. To hear words like that and for them to hit me so hard.
That's powerful.
In a good way.
That's so powerful.
It brought tears of joy to me. And it was the first time I had really experienced tears of joy. Everything else was so sad. Everything else I had to go back through the past and all of that. And then out of nowhere, she said those words on Christmas, and I felt it. And everybody in the room, my family, they felt it too. So it was a really good moment.
What a great inspiration and hope. I mean, the hope that you know, your whole family and you can bring to people, and hopefully our conversation can reach someone who might be feeling, you know, oh gosh, I went through that and I know exactly how they're feeling. There's hope. There's hope. Definitely hope. I mean, how many people have you worked with?
Well, as a total, 35 people as I continue going. And then, you know, a lot of people right now who are in a year and 6 months and 8 months and 18 months of sobriety, and I still hear from them. And
what a celebration.
They're
what
evolving.
Wonderful. Yeah, they're evolving.
Yes, and they feel that energy. The big piece is that I didn't know that being a coach in recovery was gonna happen like this for me. I didn't know that. And I didn't know that I was gonna take being a recovery coach to the next level, as far as being able to influential speak as well and speak from my heart, you know. And so everything that has happened, I've really just been sitting in my higher power's lap and letting him take me where I need to be. And right now he's taking me right here.
Yes, you sent it out to the universe.
Exactly.
And the universe is actually responding. This is happening for you. And it's, I mean, probably bigger than you've imagined and getting bigger every day.
It is.
That's incredible. What a blessing.
And I think you don't even realize how big it is when you're just doing what you love to do. When you have finally found what you want, what your purpose is, it doesn't matter where you end up or where you belong. In the end, you know, this is the surrender piece. In the end, if you're doing what you need to do and you have the courage to change the things you can with yourself, everything else will fall into place. It's inevitable. So what's your purpose? Let me ask you that. What is Sparkle Lindsay's purpose? My purpose, I feel, and been told, I'm a light worker. You know, I am a huge light worker. I see that. And amazing. I like to help people help themselves and help them find the light at the end of their tunnel. And what a blessing. That's the only thing I can say is that I didn't know what it was before, because I'm like, gosh, sometimes when I talk to people, I don't even know, like, is it me talking? Or is someone talking talking through me, you know, because it's so powerful.
Yeah.
But it's like the words, they just come out. They're just, I'm able to express them and just be me.
Yeah.
You know, and for the first time in my life, I'm okay with just being me.
Yeah.
You know, and it
getting
feels
paid
so
for
good.
being you.
Yes,
Also,
just being,
you know?
just
You're
getting paid to be me.
you. What a
Exactly.
beautiful gift.
Yes, and
Yeah.
finding out all these different things that I did with the opportunity to be curious about myself.
I remember talking about that with you.
Curious about myself has
Yes.
been the best way to explore the enlightenment and empowerment that I have had.
Yes.
And it just keeps happening. It just
Yes.
keeps going.
I know, I
and I
love
just
it.
keep saying, well, okay, I guess I'll go over here, and then I guess I'll go over here. And wow, okay, I'll go over here. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been great. And everybody that I've touched or been around, I even see like people that I was around before,
Yeah.
and having to move myself out of that environment, focusing on my environmental wellness. I have now been placed with people who have a mission just like I do, and who are looking for a spiritual enlightenment just like me.
Yeah. Like-minded friends.
Yes, and that right there is infectious. It keeps
Yeah.
people moving when
Right.
everybody's
Right.
got the same mission, but a different journey.
Right.
And they can live that journey by being many strengths for themselves. You know, this
Yeah.
goes further than just a woman of many strengths. Now, no matter who you are around or whatever, we've taken it to that next level.
Right.
That everybody's ready to create
Right.
and have vision
Right.
and do what needs to happen. And that's what I feel is around me now. I feel safe, I feel secure, but I also feel like we're on a mission.
Right. How do we give hope to people? Because you've been through, right, to the other side. Now that you've seen it, you've got a taste of it, you know what the other side looks like. How do we give hope to those people that are worried and in fear of disconnecting from the old life?
Well, one thing is we explore the fear first. We got to figure out exactly where that fear is coming from.
Yeah.
We have to explore the emotions. That's the work, you know. And if you are going through this spiritual change, you are doing some work. You know, no matter what, there is some work on
Something's
yourself happening. So it's a little weird because I know for me, I was like, how much more work should I be doing? This is getting, I don't know. Magic is happening.
Things are
I
changing.
feel like I can
and
fly. I
shifting.
don't know. So what's going on here,
Right.
you know? I remember going to you a few times like, am I supposed to be feeling this way? And you'd be like, Sparkle is happening. And I'm
It's
like,
happening.
it is.
Yes.
But one way that I knew I was safe enough to continue working on myself was my base. Okay, and in a base, in anything you do, my base was the top of a table, and the supports I had on that base were my legs. Okay, and so I always use this. The table legs to your base, no matter what it is. Do you have everything you need to help you be solid in a transformation, in a transition?
Right.
And so if you don't, and you're going through all of this,
Right.
start to gain those legs to your table,
Right.
so that when this does happen and you're in fear of it,
Right.
you're around people who can help you walk
Right.
through
So
it.
can you tell us what your legs of the table looked like, and have they changed over time?
Oh, yes, of course. They change. Well, it's so cool because, you know, now I can say, I don't really think I want this leg for this table anymore. I think I want the black leg with the table. I don't know. You know, I get to pick it because of so many supports. When I first started out, you know, I had, you know, just a therapist, you know, and that was good. And I had a sponsor, right? So I could work through the steps.
Right.
And then I noticed I only had 2 legs to the table. I didn't really have a community of people. This is
Yeah.
for sobriety, but maybe I didn't have, you know, as an executive, I really didn't have a base. I didn't have legs or anything. I was just going through the motions. You know, the base is balance as well, you know, so I didn't have that. But I did, as soon as I met with SRC, Springs Recovery Connection, my community came around.
Right.
Then I had a community. So now I've got a therapist, I've got a sponsor, I have community around sobriety. And then last but not least, you know, I decided to do a different approach since I can have multiple pathways to my recovery in getting a mentor for the Buddhist version of AA.
Right.
And meditation and opening up and letting go of blockages that had been just in front of me, and continuously walking through those emotions with my therapist, with my sponsor, and then becoming a recovery coach.
Right.
Because now I have to humble myself daily and meet myself where I'm at before I meet anybody else.
And I love how the legs can grow and change.
Yes.
That you have permission to let that grow and change over time as you mature and grow in your spiritual journey. That's beautiful.
And where you want to work on yourself more. So like, I had a therapist when I started for like 9 months, and she was great, but then I needed to go deeper.
Yes.
So I got another therapist who's going to really help me break through what I need to, because there's still some blockages in there that I need to actually live through and feel that, and experience that, so I can explore where it's going to go. And that's
one of the
fun
things
part.
that I love about you the most, besides just the energy and the, just your spiritual being, is the fact that you explore every opportunity to become a better you.
Yes.
Everything. I mean, ever since I met you, you're constantly working on something new and exploring, not working, I should say, exploring in an exciting way. You're excited to keep growing, learning, changing, and finding out who Sparkle is inside. You're not afraid to go in and explore and see who you are and the beautiful things that come out. You are alive and you are well. You are awake. This is what we're podcasting today.
Awake.
What a beautiful example you are of being awake, alive, and present for this moment, but every moment, and every person and every client that you work with, you are right there. I can taste it. Beautiful.
It's that deep listening piece, the basic essentials. I think I talk about it a lot, but the basic essentials of communication, listening, and patience is amazing. One thing that we say we're great at are those 3 things, but we don't ever practice them.
Right.
But we're like, I'm a good listener. And I told you before, but the first time I actually explored me being a good listener, I was like, I got some work to do.
I know. We talked about
well.
whole body. We talked about whole body listening with your whole body. What are your hands doing? What are your eyes doing? What are your ears doing? And what are your feet doing? I was all over the place.
And I I was like, I'm not doing any of that.
At all.
Like none of that. And then I was like, I'm just actually waiting until I can talk again. Yeah, that's not good.
Right. Working on what I need to say next.
Yes,
instead
not
of
listening, what's actually happening.
Yes.
And actually slowing yourself down to consume it. I say, acknowledge the conversation first, right?
Yes.
And then once you validate what the conversation is about, you can find compassion for yourself and for others.
Right, and then validate the person that you're having the conversation with.
So that you know how to approach them. And also you can kind of let them know where you're at and how you're feeling, so they know how to approach you.
Right.
All it takes is 2 more seconds to slow down, be patient about the conversation, to actually have a wonderful conversation with someone.
Right.
Just slow down for that.
And help them identify with you, and that opens them up to being more vulnerable, and that opens up a whole new, you're experiencing the conversation.
Yes.
It's not a talking at.
No.
It's so much deeper.
Getting the feel for it.
Yes.
Back in the day, I remember when I was a little kid, I loved having great conversations with my family. Like we'd sit around the table and these conversations were just so cool. We laughed, we had a good time. We still do when we're around each other, making fun of each other, just enjoying each other. We don't see that a lot anymore. People don't gather and connect, and that's what helps you become that well-oiled machine you want to be. But sometimes we don't even know where to start.
Right.
And so my mission, and the reason why the exploring will be forever in my life and forever in my favor, is my mission is to become congruent with mind, body, and spirit. If I can get those things rolling and just continuously moving like a well-oiled machine, then I know that my higher power has given me the gift of being able to do whatever I need to do for me. And that is what being a better you for you is. That's what it's about. It's finding out what makes you tick, finding out what makes you happy, because happiness from within is inevitable.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter where you're at.
Tell me more about the happiness that you thought was happiness before going into recovery and having this awakening. What did you think happiness looked like before?
You know, the happiness that I thought was great, or what was looking for, is, okay, I got a job, I'm making lots of money, I got a place to live, I'm providing for myself.
All the accolades, right? And I know for me it was degrees and
you got degrees,
right?
You got a double major and a minor, Sparkle. You're doing great, but inside, I always wanted to speak. But I was afraid to leave the industry getting paid, and then it turned into a habit, and then next thing you know, my hours of work were taking up all of my time.
Yeah,
I was so exhausted, but I was making money and I'm happy.
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
Absolutely.
So now, what is your idea of happiness?
Oh my gosh. My idea of happiness is like, take the time to find enjoyment in the simple pleasures.
Yes.
And the simple things, the small things
those quotes you
always
said.
make
They're
you
so beautiful.
feel just like, this is where I'm at.
Yes.
I have this coffee and I love this cup.
Yeah. I'm hearing gratitude.
Yes.
I'm hearing so much
I
gratitude.
Love this cup. I have a roof over my head.
Yes.
I'm blessed. You know, I talked to my mom this morning and she said, you did wonderful on the Claudia Garofalo show live.
Right.
What? My mom's my #1 fan. She was sitting right there. I said, you're in California and you seen that? She said, I looked everywhere and I found it.
God bless her.
She said, I won't miss one at all. She said, I'm not missing this one either.
That's beautiful.
So I think those little things, you know, I wouldn't have never been able to have that conversation at 9:30 in the morning with my mother after having a conversation live about wanting to help people help themselves. I would still be working 100 hours a week, just exhausted, looking like not the age of 35, I'll tell you that much. And I would be wondering, what is next, and am I going to be in this type of environment for the rest of my life? And I am not. Every day, I mean, even the drive here was just amazing. I mean, at first it started out with the snow, but then before you know it, you could see the sun just on the mountains, and the music I got to listen to, and just stuff that was just meditative while being in the vehicle, and actually even doing a few sessions from the car and hearing people evolving and blooming. It was one of the best drives I've ever had. And any other time, I would have been like, I got to take this drive and I got to do this. Nothing was stressful about it at all.
That's
and
amazing.
I enjoyed every bit of it because it gave me time with myself to become a better me for me. That drive alone has helped me just say, how was I on that live show? How do I feel about being on a live show? I've never done that before. What could I do better? What could I do worse? Well, you know what? It is what it is. You know, these are things that I'm talking to myself about, but it feels good to know I can do that.
Yes.
And I think it's wonderful. The best person you should be able to talk to is yourself.
Yes.
You know, if you can do that, that's half the
So tell
battle.
me how you used to talk to yourself before you got into recovery.
Before I was in recovery, I was my positive affirmations were still there. You know, as an executive, running teams of 3,000 and running remodels and helping people, training people, helping them figure out where they fit in our puzzle in the company, not in their puzzle, but letting them know that they own their own development. But now people own their own recovery. People own their own lives. They have the right to take their life back. And I didn't know I was going to get there until I went through this journey of recovery and until I'm still going through it. But I used to say things like, I am beautiful, I am smart. You know, the company would teach you these things to continue positive affirmations. But now, as a coach, I feel that it's not so much what I am now, it is actually more so what I intend to be. And so now I still use the I am beautiful, I am smart, but I use words like I am deserving of, and I am capable of, and I am entitled to, because those are the things I intend to be for the rest of my life. And in order for that to happen, I have to train that in my mindset by telling myself those good things, but also throwing that out there in the universe and manifesting it because I believe it. You know, and so now the belief in what I had by the backing of a company is now my own belief in my own goals. And I believe in them by manifesting them in the universe daily.
Yeah.
By telling me what
Yeah.
I deserve.
Right. We talk about coming into the feeling tones of all of those mantras. The mantras are so beautiful and they're so important, but alone and by themselves may not be as empowering as really coming into those feeling tones in your heart, your soul, your body. You can feel, and like you said, looking in the mirror and saying, I am beautiful, but feeling beautiful, knowing,
the ing,
a sense of knowing.
The knowing, the ing, the considering, right? Thinking that it's obvious that this is where I need to be. This is where I'm going to be. This is what I would like to be. Not this is what I am, because we know what we are and we want to stay with that, but where are we going with what we are? Because where we're going and what we're revving up for is what's exciting, right? But we have to be able to intend to want to do that in the first place. It also trains the mind and the body to believe it. Your demeanor starts to be different when you use these words.
That's the neuroplasticity of the brain. You're changing the brain.
Just and your body just does it. Next thing you know, you're like, I'm not deserving of that. I'm deserving of this.
Right. Well, you honestly can walk into a room and just know what sits well and what doesn't sit well, whose voices are compatible with yours, resonating with you on the same frequency, and whose are kind of, you're feeling this disconnect or disequilibrium. We've talked about that as well. We did some visioning work, and I know it's so important, right, to have a vision. We talked about without a vision, your life can just be idle. You're just kind of in that trance of going through the motions of life. What is your ultimate vision for yourself in the future?
My ultimate vision for myself right now is to be on a big platform as an influential speaker. And to share my enlightenment, my stories, my lived experience daily with people from the heart.
Oh, I have chills right now.
It is so exciting for me to be used as a vessel for my higher power to speak the words I speak. As an athlete, being an athlete, I've always been compelled to be my competitive nature is like, let's go get this. But I have never, ever had more competitive nature for myself till now, where I'm like, we're doing this.
That's a beautiful
statement. And the person I'm talking to is me. And when I get out of the car, I'm like, let's go. Right? I don't have a basketball in my hand. It's just me. And I walk out and people are like, God, I swear maybe she has a coach in the back seat. Nope, it's me. Coaching myself, knowing that the moment is here. Let's make it happen. And it just feels electrifying. It feels great.
You're your own cheerleader, right? That's what we all need to be. Right?
We have to know that, we can do it, but there's work around it, and there's ways to tell yourself that, like you said, planning. We plant the seeds for ourselves. We talk to ourselves daily. We tell ourselves, hey, checking yourself at the door. Sometimes you got to slow yourself down. You got to slow your roll and be like, what am I doing? Back up, right? I'm getting out of self, right? But that's okay. Slow yourself down. Talk to yourself. Make things happen for you slowly but surely through your patience and love for yourself.
Without judgment.
Without any judgment. Just meet yourself where you're at.
Oh, so you have so many great visions and ideas. Can you tell us a little bit about your new business?
So Sparkle, the light at the end of the tunnel, I kind of stemmed it off of, I am now a state licensed peer recovery support specialist. I'm now a recovery coach that's state licensed for Colorado.
Nice.
And I have looked to go out on my own, create different packages, different things for people who are going through sobriety. But I also stemmed it off of executives who are looking for work-life balance. They need help finding their base and the legs to their table. And then I also want to hit athletes who are transforming from backpacks to briefcases. So you have a lot of college athletes who are playing these sports and they're excited, and then their season's over. They're done. Their 5 years is done. They have a degree. But now they got to transform into real life. And so a lot of my work goes around transformation into the next step for you and your next best move. And creating or helping you create the right base the right table and the table legs to go with it, and then you can spin off and start building your snow globe.
I've watched you stand, walk side by side with everyone that you commit yourself to for not just a week, I'm talking years.
Yes.
You have people in your clientele that are years in your, you know, in your notebook. I mean, you are such a support and such a great guide. I could not recommend anybody better than you.
Thank you.
And I just appreciate so much you being here today.
And wherever you're at, laugh about it. Enjoy the journey. That's the fun part about exploring it. We don't know what's going to happen in an hour, but we know what's happening right now. Right? So take the time to embrace it. Right?
Embrace and be curious.
Yes.
I love those terms.
Embrace it, be curious, and then enjoy the enlightenment and empowerment you receive from your higher power or whatever you believe in. Because
the one thing I love about you being a speaker, you know, and sharing your gifts with the world, and this is so true for me too, is you're so raw and real. You're so raw and real, and I appreciate that so much, and I need to hear your story to keep me sober, to keep me alive, to keep me in hope.
I have evolved into something I thought I never would, and that is the gift of being. And being alone and figuring that out has been the best blessing I could have. So knowing that I found that inside of myself during such a hard time, I know others can do the same.
Thank you, Sparkle.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. Please make sure to click the like and subscribe buttons below to catch more of our dynamic episodes of Sharing Awakenings.